I the a-hole for not wanting my disabled sister at my wedding? My 22 female sister Anna, 21, is special need. She has severe autism, and while she's verbal, most of her communication is physical, like sign language due to her social discomfort. She does speak around family though, and has pretty bad cognitive skills. She can't comprehend boundaries and lives with our parents so they can best watch her. I am getting married in 3 months. We planned a simple wedding and reception at my fiancé Michael's parents' barn and farm. Since it's all gonna be DIY and we aren't planning anything too expensive, we can do things pretty quickly, since flowers, food, and decor will be provided by his family. I sent our invites last week, and I asked that Anna not come. I told my parents I understood if that would mean they may not show up, but it was just a heads up. Why no Anna? She has an issue with touching Michael and trying to kiss him. At times when we were at my parents' house, Anna would try and grab Michael's hands, try to lean in to kiss him, or would have a really bad meltdowns if she wasn't allowed to be directly next to him. We've tried speaking to her, but there's only so much we can do when she doesn't really understand. I told my parents I just want one day for Michael to be my partner and not Anna's comfort person. They called me selfish and asked how I expected them to agree to something like this. They told me Anna's disabled and may never experience a wedding of her own, and while I have Michael for probably the rest of our lives, she'll have no one, and that Michael and I can be a little more understanding to the reality of her life. I feel like a total A, and what they're saying really has gotten to me, and I'm starting to question my decision. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before the little update. Not the a-hole. I don't care if I get downvoted. You're right. She's incapable of leaving your fiancé alone on the only day she needs to leave him alone. Best wishes to you and your future husband. Edited to add, since this blew up, let me clarify. She needs to leave him alone every day. And that is solely the responsibility of the parents to teach her those boundaries, not Opie or fiancé. I wholeheartedly agree. Opie, can you do a celebration with your sister at a later date? I understand should be on him, but at least your wedding day, he is yours and only yours. Congrats, by the way. Thank you for putting this so eloquently. I couldn't have written it better myself. Opie, you're not the a-hole in this situation, although I totally empathize with your dilemma. It can be a sticky subject to discuss disabilities, especially given a family tie, but you are not asking/acting in bad faith whatsoever. Congratulations, Opie, and here's to many years of joy ahead. Your partner deserves to not be harassed every day, but especially on his wedding day. It doesn't matter if she doesn't understand, she still can't do it. If your family won't prevent her from doing things, then she isn't allowed in those situations. Yeah, no one's talking about this. Seems like harassment. I don't wonder what Michael thinks about the whole situation. It's his wedding day too. Not the a-hole, but neither is poor Anna. It's your parents. They told on themselves because it sounds like they expect you to share your spouse with her to make her life more fair somehow. It really sounds like they've been secretly encouraging and supporting this behavior. The most charitable thing I can come up with is maybe they've deluded themselves into thinking anything to avoid a meltdown. But that way lies madness. I also think that parents are using her future husband to fill a role that he never agreed to. It's completely wrong of them. And now for the update. My parents called me letting me know they won't be coming, and that it's best I don't bring Michael around anymore since I've chosen some man over my sister. They told me that Anna wanting to kiss Michael and hug him is normal for a woman her age, and that she doesn't understand what her feelings mean. I suggested they try to redirect her during the wedding, but they said Michael's gonna be family to her, and he needs to get over it. I suggested they watch the wedding via web, and they said that's not fair, and that they deserve to see things in person. I asked if I could pay for someone with proper credentials to watch her that day while they attend, and they asked what I would do when they died, and if I'd pawn her off every time. I dropped the unfortunate truth bomb that I don't want to put any more of my life aside for Anna anymore. I did it up until I turned 18. And that Anna's not my life's responsibility and I won't be her keeper. I assured them I'd pay for her care. But if she's okay doing this to Michael, then I worry if I ever do choose to have children and what she'd do to them. They said I was sick for suggesting she'd do anything to my future children, and hung up on me. They sent a lengthy text telling me not to contact them until I could do the right thing. So that's where we are right now. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out of my niece's birthday party? I, male 43, met my now ex-wife while I was grieving my late wife. I was weak, dealing with bereavement and my sick son, it latched to my ex as soon as my sister introduced her as her friend. We were married for over 3 years when I caught her with my ex-friend who was my best friend, a year after my son passed away. Our marriage already had issues, but that was the last straw. She remained my sister's close friend, which is something I have no control over, but it absolutely hurts like hell. My sister and her husband lost their home and are struggling right now. They mentioned at a family gathering that they won't be hosting a party for my niece's birthday this year, which was unfair because the 16th birthday celebration is a special year for every kid. My son didn't get the chance to have a 16th birthday party, and so I decided to throw my niece a surprise birthday party at a restaurant and called my sister to bring my niece and come to the restaurant without ruining the surprise for her. My sister knew and invited some friends, which was on me as well, but I figured that after 2 years of pain, loss, sadness, then why not enjoy one evening? The family arrived. My brother was already there and we were having a great time until I saw my ex-wife approach our table. I was confused. I asked what she was doing there. She said my sister invited her. I saw red and started lashing out, telling her to leave. My sister said she wanted her there, and that I should either quiet down or leave if she was making me uncomfortable. I was dumbfounded. I asked her if she really just tried to kick me out of the birthday party celebration that I arranged and paid for, and she glanced at me then said this was her friend. I told her then she needed to take her friend and leave. She got up and told my niece and brother-in-law to get up so they could leave. But I said why? They didn't do anything wrong, and my niece doesn't deserve to have her birthday ruined like that. My niece and brother-in-law said they were staying. Mom left with them as well, and later they both said I made my niece's birthday about me, and should have ignored my ex who's my sister's best friend since she means nothing to me now. I argued that I arranged for the event and had a right to kick her out, which they called financial mistreatment and control. I replied that there was no way I'd let my ex anywhere near me after she caused damage while I was vulnerable and grieving. Mom said she understood, but I should have just sucked it up for my niece's sake instead of causing a scene. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your sister made it all about her. She put a friendship first. I think you need to cut them all off that are trying to get you to forgive, and tell them each and every person mourns loss differently. Not only am I mourning my first wife, but the betrayal of wife number 2 coupled with the passing of my son. I'm cutting contact with folks who do not understand this and act in painful ways towards me. It is sad that people have zero empathy, and I hope they never have to deal with such loss and betrayal. And I'd cut contact with them until given a sincere apology. Also, have you gotten any counseling for all you've been dealing with? I was on the fence about whether Opie needs to cut Mom off, but I think you were right. Opie's mom lost all moral authority to chastise Opie when she left a party with sister. She put her granddaughter's feelings last, and made this an even bigger scene. Opie's mother is barely deserving of the title. To be so callous of your child's feelings after everything Opie has been through, siding with that line about financial mistreatment was the clincher for me. When you pay, you own the guest list. Want to control who comes? Find a way to be less of a financial dog plop. Not today, home. Your sister is disrespectful AF. It's telling that neither her daughter or her husband followed her out. Everyone sucks here. Yeah, your sister is an A for putting you there, but also what is your ex's relation with your niece? You have nothing there, and I'll be honest, most best mates I know are also generally close with their kids. Yes, you paid, but also you ruined what you claim to be a special moment for your niece as well. Her sweet 16 is gone. You should have clarified that point a bit or at least checked beforehand. Don't worry, still think your sister is also wrong. Should have told you, etc. But both need to grow up since this was about your niece. If it was your birthday or whatever, fine, throw them out, no problem. Would not be the A. But this involved someone else who may have a close connection. Maybe not, but I doubt you'd be truly informed about that. If the sister cared about her brother at all, then she'd ask her friend to stay away from the party. The fact that she not only brought her but left with her says a lot. She could have just asked her to leave and continued to celebrate with her daughter. Also, why should he be run out of a party he set up out of love for his niece? You blame Opie for not checking beforehand, but I don't think it's normal to have asked someone who betrayed your brother in the worst way possible while he was grieving your nephew to not come to this party. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for letting a teenage boy spend a night in jail before dropping the charges? So I feel like I'm always posting here, and here is my latest ask. When I moved cities a few months ago, I rented an apartment on a monthly contract while looking for another one to buy. A couple months in, the owner told me that she will be putting it on the market, so she will be needing my schedule to arrange showings. I offered to buy it, and not even 2 weeks later, I was the owner of my own apartment. I live in the second floor. The first floor is owned by a family, father, mother, and 2 teen boys. The ground floor is 2 garages for cars, 1 for each owner. And finally, the roof is split into 2 roofs with an 8-foot wall and separate doors off the landing. When I bought my house, I wanted to redo the kitchen and bathroom, so I took some cookies and knocked on my neighbor's house to ask for their schedule. I didn't want to do work while they were at home to avoid bothering them. That day, I was in my balcony and heard a husband complaining about me buying the apartment. Apparently, they were planning to do so, but I beat them to it. Now, fast forward a couple of months and I have turned my roof into a garden, with raised beds for my veggies, pots for flowers, some garden furniture, and an area with some wood and outside tiles. While coming out one day, I met my neighbor and she asked to see the garden with her sons. I showed it off and thought that was the end of it. That is until I started noticing how some of my flowers were cut, the furniture was moved, etc. So I installed a camera and saw that her sons jump over the dividing wall along with some friends and spend their time there. I told the parents and asked them to tell their kids to stop, that most of the time I'm not at home, and if something happened, there is no way to open the door to help them, metal door with a huge padlock. They said okay, but the kids continued to do so. They even started destroying my plants for telling on them. So I gave their mother an ultimatum. They either stop or I will be calling the police. She scoffed and called me an entitled witch. The next time I got an alert on my phone, I called the cops and said someone broke into my rooftop garden. They came pretty fast, and only 1 kid managed to escape. The other was caught red-handed and taken to the precinct. Their father almost broke my door and started screaming at me to come and drop the charges. But I just threatened to call the police on him as well and went to bed. This morning I went to the precinct and dropped the charges, so he spent the night in their jail with, according to his mom, drug dealers and thugs. I was so sure of my decision that I was teaching him the consequences of his actions. But my mom said that I was too harsh. She said that I punished the parents, not that I taught the kid a lesson. So guys, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, not even remotely the a-hole. You talk to them. You talk to them again. They, instead of disciplining their kids, basically left you with no other choice. Hell, with that kind of attitude, frankly, you would still never be the a-hole even if you didn't drop the charges. Probably shouldn't have. Probably should have called the police on the father too. I know you need peace where you live, but they jumped so far over the reasonable behavior line that an Olympic vaulter would be jealous. I concur and would like to add, don't engage with them beyond saying that the next time you will not be dropping charges. In writing, if possible. The parents need a dose of reality. Also get a locking mailbox that can handle packages, and a camera on the front porch and it. Entitled people do not like hearing no or consequences. Don't trust any of them farther than a newborn infant can throw them. Not the a-hole. Your neighbors are entitled a-holes, and one day their son will get in more serious trouble and it'll be all their fault. I wouldn't have dropped the charges. I would have dropped the charges as well. I hope he was trying to teach a lesson, not ruin the kid's life. Even though he was a minor, actually pressing charges seems harsh. The kid's parents may think Opie took it too far, but they didn't. Nobody should have to put up with the destruction of property. Once the parents knew there were cameras, they should have laid down the law. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not contributing for my ex's kids' college? For background, I was with my ex Meg for 13 years. We did not get married because both of us got married young before and decided marriage wasn't for us. Her son Eric is 18 and a senior in high school, finalizing where he'll be headed for college very soon. Eric's dad has never been in the picture and I played somewhat a fatherly role, but always made sure to build a boundary. He calls me by my first name. Told him I'm not his replacement dad, all that. I have a son and she played a stepmom role for him, but not to the degree since my ex is still very much a mother and we split custody. We broke up in June over some irreconcilable differences, and I've since moved on. In the past, I'd figured I'd help pay for Eric's college, assuming I'd still be with Meg, but never promised or set up a fund or anything like that. Now that it's getting to the point of deciding where to go, Meg asked me how much I'm going to contribute, which just shocked me. I thought it was common sense that I wouldn't pay for college for someone who's not my kid and whose mom I'm not with. Then Eric called me to ask the same thing, to which I basically told him the same thing. Then they both got mad at me and called me some names, making me doubt myself. Edit. People have asked if she is paying for my son. He is doing ROTC and got a full scholarship through that program. I did not promise to pay for his college. There was just kind of an understanding that we handled bills as a household. We did not live together the whole 13 years. We did for about 8, from ages 10 to 17. I do travel for work often and work heavy hours, so I wasn't always around though. Not today, Hall. Breakups suck. They were pretty presumptuous, assuming you'd be still paying after a breakup. This is how I viewed it. I really thought it was common sense that I wouldn't be paying after breaking up. It is common sense. People are just entitled. Not the a-hole. Is she going to contribute to her son's college education? Also, she tried to guilt/manipulate you by having Eric call when you had already spoken to her. I'd limit any unnecessary contact with her, since she seems to think she/her son are entitled to your money. Not the a-hole. He's not your son, she's not your girlfriend, and you have no obligation to pay for his college. Incidentally, how much is Meg paying for your son to go to college? Funny how that works out. Luckily, he got a full scholarship with ROTC, so that pays for tuition plus living costs. Does X know this? If not, I would ask her if she plans on paying for your son's college just to see what she says. I don't really get enjoyment out of being petty. Would rather just move on.